Yo everybody, how you doing? So I want to talk today about the idea of trading for Richard Sherman. Now this started late last week as a rumor on the radio, and then today people are still talking about it, so I'm going to weigh in. Now the talk that I've heard a lot about is the Eagles giving up their 14th overall pick for Richard Sherman. Now, if this was to happen, this would be disastrous. This is craziness. Why would you give up the 14th overall pick for a 29-year-old cornerback who makes a lot of money, by the way, and only has 2 years left on his contract? We got to decide what this team is. What do we really think this team is? Do you really think that this team is one cornerback away from a Super Bowl? Do you think that they're going to go to the Super Bowl if they have Richard Sherman? I mean, do you really think so? I guess if you think so, yeah, go out and trade for him. But if you're like me and you don't think so and you think they have too many holes, then it's a waste of time. This is a second-year quarterback on this team who's still got to learn. He needs stability and he needs to be built for the future. I keep saying this over and over again. If you get Richard Sherman and give away your 14th pick overall, you have essentially admitted what I already suspect, that the Eagles are not building for the future, that they're building only for next year. That's it. Because Richard Sherman helps you what? Next year or maybe the year after? But he's getting older. And cornerback position is one of those positions when you start to age, it goes quick. Okay, I think it's insanity that you would want to go out and get him. Sorry, I do. Okay, I mean the 14th overall pick. We're not talking about the 5th round pick or 4th. We're talking about the 1st round pick, the 14th overall pick for a 29-year-old corner. Are we that desperate? Look, when the season ended, the Eagles went to this offseason. The idea was to get better. To me, a good goal for the Eagles after 2017 would have been to win 2 more games, maybe 3 more games, make the playoffs. Then you build a little more, and next year you win the division and you win a playoff game. Then that following season, when you come in and you're ready to play, you're playing for a Super Bowl. And not only are you playing for a Super Bowl that year, but for the next 5-6 years. But to go out and bring in a 29-year-old corner, you pretty much essentially are saying in 2 years you're going to need another corner. I think it's insane. I think it's an insane thought. And the only reason you can think that we should go get Richard Sherman is you believe we're good enough to win right now. We are not good enough to win right now. We may not even be a playoff team right now. Get it through your heads. They're not that good. You're overvaluing guys. If you had Richard Sherman, okay, what do you think's going to happen? Let's say you have Richard Sherman and you're playing the Cowboys. Des Bryant is going to line up on the opposite side of Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman only plays one side. He doesn't follow guys all the way. He doesn't play a guy wherever he goes and he lines up against that guy and that's it. He stays on one side. So all you do is line up on the other side. Who do you have on the other side at corner? That's it. You still have a hole at that corner. You still need another end. You still need a center. You still have 2 wide receivers that have never played with your quarterback. You're going to have a possibility of losing 3 wide receivers at the end of the year. We're not that good. We have no running back. This team isn't ready for a Super Bowl. This team is ready to start building to get into the playoffs. We're supposed to be building this thing up, and everybody wants to put in all their chips and go all in. This is crazy. Now, if you feel that the Eagles should go out and get a player, I read an interesting article, I think it was on NFL Spin Zone, something like that, by Jeremy Klump. And he was saying that the guy you go trade for isn't Richard Sherman. It's Joe Hayden. Joe Hayden is 2 years younger. He's got 3 years left on his contract. He's cheaper, and he would cost the Eagles like a 4th round pick. We have 2 4th round picks. Now, if we did something like that, that would make sense to me. That is okay. And yes, Hayden isn't as good as Richard Sherman. Yes, but he's 2 years younger, and he's coming off bad seasons, so the change could help him That would be an acceptable move. You wouldn't give up your first round pick. You'd still get a starting corner who has potential, 2 years younger, cheaper, and you only give up a fourth round pick. That's beautiful. That's something you do. But to go give your 14th overall pick for a 29-year-old corner, that's desperation. What are the Eagles desperate? Are we that desperate that we think we have to go in all this year? You're going all in. You don't realize going all in this year is going to screw us the previous years, the following years, I mean. Because once you go all in and you don't win the Super Bowl or you don't make the playoffs, then you have to let all these guys walk because they're not good enough. Now you have to bring on new guys, and the process just keeps repeating. Let's be sane about this. Let's get stability for Wentz. Let's build around him with long-term guys. Let's keep our first-round pick and bring in a legitimate player, a legitimate talent that will be here for 5 years, 6 years. Let's build this thing right. Let's not be desperate. We don't have to win the Super Bowl next year. We're building for something special. Come on, guys. Let's stick with the plan. Don't go off on all these crazy things. Richard Sherman is insanity. Do not go out and trade for Richard Sherman. I'm sorry. See you later.